All right, guys, how you guys doing today? We don't come again. On this one, now Reno Omokri, how he take fumble for a rise, how he take disgrace himself for a rise. According to Reno Omokri, he actually came to defend Tinubu. And I know say these people, it's very difficult to defend this current incumbent government. It's not easy. To defend APC, you have to sign a disgraceful agreement. Yes, Reno Omokri, Charles. Normally, I want to give credit to Charles. You know, Arise TV correspondent. That man is a top-notch journalist. Very, very top-notch journalist. He was trained in the UK, as you all know that. But let's come back to Reno. Reno is here to tell us that Tinubu economy is doing well right now by 8.4% GDP and all that. Immediately he finished that last night, I have to quickly go my own research to check the economy in terms of dollar. Because that area now concern me, and that is what is affecting the common Nigerians right now. Although GDP 3.48 or whatever percent GDP whatever, I don't know what that means. What we mean is that how much is the commodity in the market? That is my concern, and I believe that is the concern of the concerned, or rather the suffering Nigerians in Nigeria. Reno Omokri, this particular video I want to watch, so make sure you watch it to the end and see how Charles they disgrace Reno. But I'll make more monologue, or rather summation, on that particular one. There's another video that I will attach to this after Reno have rained praises on Bola Ahmed Tinubu. That last video will shock you. Let's watch this all together.
We don't know yet, for example, much about this ADC coalition. There's no clear...
Even they don't know much about their coalition.
Well, there's no clear documentary reference to it yet and what it actually stands for. So a lot of conjecture and inference at the moment. Given that, what are your thoughts on what we know so far?
Well, what we know is that this is a party built on grudge against Bola Tinubu. I mean, if you look at what they said, this is an anti-Tinubu coalition. That's what I'm quoting them. So it's not a pro-Nigeria coalition, it's an anti-Tinubu coalition. I mean, how can that stand when you're coming together based on enmity? It cannot work. So you need to come together based on principles. Parties are built on ideology, on principles. Parties are not built on hate. Look, Peter Obi was asked the question, what party are you? And then he stammered and said, oh, he's in Labour Party. But how can you be in Labour Party and still be in ADC? Look, they don't have any governor. The senators that they have are fringe senators who are just one leg in their party and one leg out of their party. So how can they say that they are a party? They're just a ragtag coalition. And the condition of that coalition is confusion. Now, let's talk about Peter Obi. Peter Obi is having problems in the Labour Party. He doesn't know if he has the clout to pull off what he pulled off in 2023. So he's looking for an alternative route. And so he's now putting one leg in the ADC, but he's not even sure. He says that he's still a member of the Labour Party. As a matter of fact, this guy, Nasir El-Rufai, his own son was at the venue where President Bola Tinubu was endorsed for a second term, and the boy was shouting enthusiastically. If you cannot convince your own first son to support you, how do you think you can convince Nigerians?
Yeah, but to be fair, I mean, you know, this may not be for you, but there are many who might be encouraged and even inspired by the fact that heavyweights like Atiku Abubakar, Peter Obi, two of Tinubu's biggest challengers in the last election, being the face of this coalition, in addition, of course, to the likes of, as you mentioned, Nasir El-Rufai, Rotimi Amechi, David Mark, Rauf Arebesola, Uche Secondus, etc.
Well, one thing that these people all have in common is that they all lost in 2023. All of them, all the names that you mentioned, they all lost in 2023.
Yeah, but so what if they lost?
Yeah, so if you form a...
I mean, many of them don't even believe they lost.
Can I answer your question? If you form a losers convention, so, I mean, why should I be afraid of you? You're forming a losers convention. I mean, why should I be afraid of you? It happens all the time. In the United States, we see people forming a losers convention. When you gather negative thinkers together, there's more negativity.
Tinubu got 37% of the vote. Atiku and Obi combined got 54%. So on that score, would you concede that they appear to have learned some lessons from the last election? Because both Atiku and Obi feel that they might have won on a joint ticket in 2023.
That means you're not up to date. Because in his last interview on channels, Peter Obi said, and I'm quoting him, "I will contest the 2027 election."
But a joint ticket, let me just make this point. A joint ticket doesn't mean that they're necessarily running that. In other words, that they're combining forces.
Yeah, but if Peter Obi says he's running, if Waziri Atiku Abubakar says he's running.
Well, he hasn't said that.
Waziri Atiku Abubakar has not said he's running. Oh, please. Anyway, but let me just finish now. So if Peter Obi says that he's going to run, if we are seeing from every indication that Waziri Atiku Abubakar wants to run, if we are seeing Amaechi submitting a proposal to the ADC officially for a one-term presidency, I mean, have you seen any coalition there? There's no coalition. What you're just seeing is egos, different egos. The man, Peter Obi, is based on what has happened in the past. Is very unlikely to get the ticket of the ADC, because if you see what's happening with the ADC, he doesn't have that clout within the ADC. I have a good idea who's likely going to get the ticket. It's likely going to go to a northerner. And the man has said, I'm definitely going to run. So what you just said, that premise is wrong. There is no coalition. There is no joining of forces. This is just egos going here, and there.
But would you concede, Reno, that with all these people coming together from various parties, both ruling and opposition, this is arguably the biggest shakeup in Nigerian political history since the APC came in, some 12 years ago?
But I answered that question already. How can it be a shake-up when you cannot shake up your family? Nasir El-Rufai's son is in the APC and endorsed the president. How can it be a shake-up when you cannot shake up your own state? Tell me, which of these people controls their state, that their governor has gone with them? Name one. You cannot, because it doesn't exist. Rauf Aregbesola in Osun State doesn't control his governor. Peter Obi does not control his governor. His governor is very virulently opposed to him. Nasir El-Rufai has been indicted by the Kaduna State House of Assembly. So which of them? I'm never going to
but
speak.
Peter Obi still won the state. Well, and won a lot of other states.
Yeah, he won the state.
In spite of not controlling those states, as you put it.
Yeah, but...
the suggestion from you is that if you have a governor, in other words, you almost seem to, without putting words into your mouth, hearken back to the old way of doing politics in Nigeria, that the governor is the person who clamps down on the voting capacity of the state. I mean, when people are free to cast their votes for whoever they want to vote for.
Now, we're talking about two different things. We're talking about the general election. We're talking about the primary. Now, we're talking about who is going to get the ticket. Because if Peter Obi does not get the ticket of the ADC, he's going to run under the LP, because he has said...
Well, he's going to run under another party, but we don't know yet.
Because he has said that he is a member of the Labour Party. So the logical thing to do is to run on the Labour Party. So we're talking about, let's put first things first. We're talking about getting the primary ticket. So we are not seeing any of them controlling their governors, controlling their states. So these are just malcontents. These are disgruntled people. These are losers coming together, like I said, to form a losers convention.
Okay, let me put it another way. Given the fact that we've seen the two main opposition parties, Labour and the PDP, severely weakened by internal divisions, would you say that the arrival of the ADC coalition at this point is crucial for strengthening Nigeria's democracy? Because you need a strong opposition to sustain democracy, and Nigeria seemed to be heading inexorably towards a one-party state.
And then look at that. You say Nigeria heading towards a one-party state.
I said it seemed to be heading.
Yeah, but you're saying that Nigeria seems to be heading towards a one-party state. Why are you saying that? Because more people are joining the APC because of the performance of President Bola Tinubu.
Well, I don't think it's because of the performance of President. This is nothing personal. I'm just an observer.
That's your opinion.
And certainly my observation is not that it's because of the performance of President
that's your opinion. Because if you look at the performance of President Bola Tinubu, for the first time, Nigeria has a $14.1 billion trade surplus. It has never happened before. Nigeria has a 3.84, economy is growing at 3.84%, the GDP. So look, there's growth in this economy. For the first time, we're seeing that states in Nigeria are not owing salaries the way they used to. Because why? The Bola Tinubu administration, after removing fuel subsidy, there's more distributable funds to the states, in fact. So states are getting at least double what they used to get under Buhari. So that is performance, whether you like it or not. Your opinion doesn't matter.
It's not about my opinion. I try not to express opinions. I try to make analytical assessments.
And so if you're making an analytical assessment, I just gave you points to note. Our debt has gone down from 113 billion to 97 billion. Our GDP is growing at 3.84. We had 2 recessions under Buhari. We are seeing growth under Tinubu. Look,
well, I mean, it's the same party.
It doesn't
it's
matter.
The same APC
it doesn't
party.
matter.
So telling me about Buhari, it's the same group.
APC,
it's the same party.
APC was not a party.
Well, you
APC,
were just arguing that he brought
Can I finish?
Buhari into office.
Yes, but APC is not a party. APC is a coalition. That's why APC
is a party.
No,
it's a party that was formed by different parties.
Can I explain to you better? APC is a coalition. It is not a party. There are legacy parties built on ideology that formed the APC. All those legacy parties, they don't really agree together. The Congress for Progressive Change has a different political and economic ideology from the ACN, the Action Congress of Nigeria. So ideologically speaking...
So why are they together?
Yeah, that's why it's called a coalition. It happens in England. I schooled in England, you schooled in England. We have
it's an APC party.
It's a coalition.
That's what it's called.
It's a coalition. Now, the ideology behind Bola Tinubu is not the same ideology behind Buhari. And we are seeing progress with Bola Tinubu.
Well, they don't have any ideology. They have visions, they have philosophies, but they don't have ideology.
No, that's not true. Bola Tinubu has ideology, and that ideology has remained consistent since 1989 when he was in the Social Democratic Party. That's why it is very difficult for you to make a distinction between Bola Tinubu and Waziri Atiku Abubakar, because they have the same political ideology. They are both SDP people. And don't forget that this Waziri Atiku Abubakar was the presidential candidate of the Action Congress of Nigeria, Bola Tinubu's legacy party that became a member of the coalition.
Indeed. Before we go, let's talk a little bit about you. What do you actually do now? I know we've introduced you as a political commentator, social media influencer, author. Is that what puts food on the table, or do you have a secret job that you do in the UK in the wee hours sort of the morning, a sort of 9 to 5 job, or you don't do that kind of grunt work?
I have the most paid subscribers of anybody in Africa. Nobody on the continent of Africa has more paid subscribers than me on X, which is formerly Twitter.
So you're a social media influencer.
Can I finish?
I just needed to be clear.
If you interject, I can't be clear.
Go ahead.
So even if I don't do anything, if I just sleep and wake up, today, I'm earning something like maybe close to $1,000, even if I just sleep and wake up. That's why I have the luxury.
Well, I'd like to be you.
Oh, well, that's why I have the luxury to travel all around the world. This year, how many countries have I been to? I've been to 18 countries. Tomorrow, I'm going back to California. From California, I'm going to Ethiopia. From Ethiopia, I'm going to Seychelles. That's why that's why I can say the truth to anybody, because I have a consistent legal income flow, and nobody can muzzle me.
Indeed. And what about the reports that you're about to be made an ambassador by the Tinubu government? Is that a fact, or is that shrouded in mystery?
I don't know anything about that. I deal in facts. I don't deal in reports or rumors.
Yeah, but I mean, have you heard about those reports?
I read it in the newspapers just like you. I read it just like you.
Reno, it's great to see you. And great to see you in person, rather than all this internet business from London.
And just before I go, I really want to encourage Nigerians, please dress in made in Nigeria apparel. Everything I'm wearing from head to toe is made in Nigeria. That's the only way we're going to build our economy.
Well, tell that to the government, because they're driving around in foreign cars. You see what I mean? And yet cars are made in Nigeria.
Yes, cars are made in Nigeria. And then we're seeing that this administration is also patronizing innocent, not just with the government, also with the military. So we're going to start somewhere. This administration made it possible for a Nigerian carrier to get direct routes to Gatwick Airport and to London Heathrow. So that's part of what I'm talking about. Thank you, Charles, for having me.
Yeah, well, what about Tinubu's healthcare? Can he have his medical, sort of his hospital treatments in Nigeria?
I'll tell you what you're going to do. Invite the Minister of Information. Let him sit down here and he can answer that question.
I like that.
I'm asking you, what is the difference between Bola Tinubu and Hushpuppy? What's the difference? What is the source of Hushpuppy's income? You don't know. You think it's illegal, it's corrupt. Okay, now I'm asking you this. What is the source of Bola Tinubu's income? What is the source of his income? You know, if Hushpuppy were to have been in Nigeria, most likely he would have been an APC politician. Because in APC, dishonesty thrives in APC. Look, I'll give you an example now. The APC today named Governor Umar Ganduje of Kano State a man caught on camera collecting bribes. This is not like a rumor or a gossip or whatever. He was caught on camera collecting bribes. I've analyzed that video. I sent it to a lab. That image is accurate. And then you now appoint this man to be the to head the Edo State election committee of the APC. Now you think about it. Just think about it. You see, I saw pictures, or rather a video of Hushpuppy shopping in a mall in Dubai, and then you had a man with a Versace bag following him about. Now, the current vice president of Nigeria, Oshibajo, actually played that role for Bola Tinubu. Because if you Google, you will see pictures of him, holding Bola Tinubu's phone, and some other people holding Bola Tinubu's bag, walking behind him when he came back from I think the UK or somewhere abroad. So now I'm asking you, as a Nigerian, what is the difference between Bola Tinubu and Hushpuppy? What's the difference? What is their source of income? What is Bola Tinubu's source of income? I'm asking you now, what is his source of income for this stupendous, unimaginable wealth that everywhere in the United Kingdom or in the United States? Do you think that they wouldn't ask such questions? In Nigeria, we worship him.
Say it's funny to see Reno is comparing Tinubu and Hushpuppy. And the same Reno is really praises on Tinubu that the economy is growing, everything is growing. As of today, I just checked just now, pounds is still 2,000, almost 2,100, 2,100 naira per £1. But when Buhari left office, it was about between 600 to 700 naira. What are we talking about? The same Reno defended Tinubu and talking down on Buhari, forgetting that satanic Buhari and satanic Tinubu came from the same satanic APC party. You see, it's only in Nigeria you see that nobody probe anybody. They don't, when anybody come into power, they don't probe their predecessor. I've talked about this so many times on our platform. They will be blaming their predecessor. Like, for example, in Edo State, Oshomole blamed Lucky Igbenedion, but he could not probe Lucky Igbenedion. Then Obaseki blamed Oshomole, and he even promised us 3 times. I've showcased that so many times on our live broadcast that he will probe Oshomole for 30 billion water storm project. And he could not probe Oshomole one day because Oshomole responded at that time by saying that if Obaseki dead, probably he will be implicated because now all of us now shop the money together, allegedly. Then Obaseki left power. Okpebolo came in that I will probe this government. We are still waiting as we speak right now for Okpebolo to probe Obaseki government. Now so Okpebolo go jibo. Go probe anybody. Anyway, today now be the final Supreme Court judgment for Okpebolo versus Aswa Igodaro. I will talk about that one shortly. Look out for that particular video. But on this one, Reno is blaming Buhari for their satanism, but not blaming Tinubu for his continuous satanism. What do we have to say? My people, they asked Reno, what do you do for a living? He say, my platform is the most generated, whatever. You see why? Listen, in case you don't know, I don't talk for our live broadcast so many times. If you want to generate a lot of funds, speak bad about Peter Obi, a lot of people will be following you. Both the people that like Peter Obi will be following you because they want to hear the update you are talking so that they can debunk it. Both the people that hate Peter Obi will also be following you. This is what these guys are doing. That's why you see that more of these people speak ills about Peter Obi because they generate a lot of traffic. Yes, he just confirmed to us now that where he's making his money from is by speaking on Twitter against Peter Obi. That's where he makes his money from. But people, what I have to say, I would like to hear from you. Put it on the comment section. This is NAIJA Media. Join us every day, 7 p.m. Nigerian time. Let's continue to talk about the things that's affecting you and I. Take care, guys. And bye for now.